I'm like learning a ton about police procedure and autopsies and really horrible ways to get rid of a body and all sorts of stuff. But I'm just instead channeling it into buying crap that I don't need, and now we are returning crap that I don't need, and now we're into the holiday season, so now I'm buying crap for other people that they probably don't need, but we're doing it anyway. I meant to show you my winter certificate. Yes, I printed it out. Yes, I put my name on it. Yes, I am super proud of myself. No, it's not going on the fridge, but it is going in a book. And it's amazing. I need a coffee. That's what I really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I want a coffee. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse, or welcome if you are new here, or welcome back. It's been a long time, and if you used to watch me and you're still watching me and are still subscribed to me, thank you a million times over for still being around, because I have not been. And I thought I would just hop on and do a quick like what's up kind of a video and start filming some videos and kind of start trying to get back into the groove. So long story short, I mean, it's just is what this world is right now. And like a lot of people, I just have been going through it like a lot of people have. So everything's fine, I'm fine, all good. I am still working from home. We are officially not returning any sooner than April 1st at this point. I'm not mad about that at all. I am secretly hoping it gets extended until the summer, just based on what's going on out there and sort of vaccine type of news. I am working, I'm grateful I have a job. It's just, time is going at like such a weird pace, and I've just had a lot of brain fog and not a lot of desire to hop on camera and pretend to not be foggy or to try and put coherent thoughts together. So I will apologize in advance for how today is going to be, because it's been a long time. But it is December 3rd. December 3rd. I did National Novel Writing Month for the entire month of November. Anyone who's not familiar with it, it is 50,000 words in 30 days to get, for some people, like if you're writing a novella, that is it, but it's to at least get you writing towards anything, a script. If you're doing poetry, if you're doing blog posts, if you're writing a novel, it's sort of whatever you want it to be. But I did it, I wrote every single day. I finished like just around 65,000 words. I did so much online community this year, which you want to talking about blessings coming out of what we're all going through. I am such a lone wolf, you guys. Like, especially when it comes to writing. I don't do a lot of community events. I don't do a lot of write-ins. I did a ton of writing sprints and events this year, and it was just great to find a community across the country of people who do what you do and get it and are in it, cheering each other on. So that has been truly, truly amazing. And I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good about it. I am definitely in a book hangover mode. I'm definitely in writing hangover mode. So I have a long way to go. I worked on a work in progress, so it's not a fully fleshed out first draft, but we are in such a better place than I was on October 31st. So I'm feeling good about it. So we're gonna get back into that, but I am taking a couple days to myself right now to not write. And I was starting to get that feeling of missing this and missing you guys and wanting to talk about what I'm up to and wanting to see what everyone else is up to. I have been reading a ton. I have been terrible about my Goodreads. I've been terrible about my book tracker. I feel like everything that I used to do just fell by the wayside, and I've been doing, I feel like we're so gonna be all over the place today, but I didn't fully drink all the Rachel Hollis Kool-Aid, but I drank some of it, and I've talked about her books on here, and one thing that sticks with me so much from what I've learned from her when it comes to goal setting and achieving is you can only do one thing at a time and do it well. So you can't have your hand in 10 different buckets. So you need to focus on one goal and go all in. And for me, it was about writing. and I just did not have the bandwidth, the mental capacity, the energy, the desire to do anything else. And I also feel like so much of, if you're working from home and you, in my case, I'm in front of a computer all day, I am on Zoom calls, and the last thing I wanted to do was like sit down again and flip up a camera and be on camera again, because I'm on camera less than I was at the beginning, but more than is my preference from a work standpoint, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm trying to clear away the cobwebs and get back to this. With year end coming up, there's so many books I've been reading that I want to talk to you guys about. There's some books that I read that I was like, what is this? This is horrible. I need to talk about it. And we're just gonna try and figure out, I'm gonna attempt to cobble together some videos to recap all the books I've read in the past 2 months. I'm gonna try and put together like a year-end list. I got rid of a handful of books. I bought an obnoxious number of books, and I figured I would just, like I said, pop on today just to give you guys a little bit of an update before we dive right into all that stuff. So it's not like, hey, I've been gone and hey, I'm back and just whatever. So what I'm reading right now is Everything You Want Me to Be by Mindy Meija. This book has been on my bookshelf forever. I've talked about this book before. It has been on TBRs. I've never picked it up. People who I follow, coming to mind is April from Getting Hooked with It, read it, recommended it. It's a thriller, duh, because it's me. Came out in 2017. I bought this at Barnes & Noble on the new release table when it came out, and I'm just picking it up now. So I'm in one of those modes where I was trying to do the decluttering thing, and I was looking at books and I was like, oh, but I've always really wanted to read this. So I've been picking up books from my shelf that have been here for a while, thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll start to read it and I won't like it and I can get rid of it. I want to say this is like the 3rd or 4th book I've picked up in the past couple months with that in mind, and I am loving all of them. So we're making no progress on the decluttering, but we're making good progress on reading. So I am halfway through, I would say. I'm on page 160, 340 pages in the book. This is told in 3 perspectives so far. I don't know if that's going to change. In multiple timelines. So we have a girl who is a high school senior who is found murdered in her very small town. And we go backwards in time, sort of leading up to her death from her perspective. And then we have a police detective's perspective, and then we have another perspective, which I don't want to say who it is because I feel like that's important in the book when you, as you read it and as it unfolds, so you understand the relationships. But I'm really enjoying it. So I will say the first discovery of the body was a little like, ooh, but it's supposed to be, but I'm into it. Like, this is like, how fast can I get into bed at night so I can pick up the book and start reading again, kind of a thing. So I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm very happy I decided to give it a go. I have so many books that I want to read right now, and part of it is because there's all these TV adaptations coming out. So The Flight Attendant is out now. That book has also been on my shelf since it flippin' came out, and I haven't read it yet. And it was between like that and this, and I don't know why this won, but it did, and I'm happy it did. So that is high on my list. And then also, so I don't have HBO or any movie channels or anything like that, but during Thanksgiving week, there was, we had free HBO. So like the psychopath that I am, I went through the TV listings and I recorded a whole bunch of stuff. And that show, The Undoing, with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant, the finale aired Thanksgiving weekend, so they played all 6 episodes and I recorded all of them. And I was watching the first episode last night, and I didn't realize until the opening credits that it's based on the book You Should Have Known by Jean Hanff Korelitz. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I have that book. And I haven't read it. So I wound up watching the first episode of The Undoing, and I loved it. And now I'm pressing pause on it because I want to read the book before I go back into the show. And this is what I did when Carolyn Kempness's You came out on, originally it came out on Lifetime. And that's where I started watching it, and I was living far under a rock because I didn't know it was a book. So I wound up watching the first episode of that, buying the book, reading the book, and then finishing You. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I remember hearing about this book And it sounded so intriguing to me. And then I feel like on Goodreads, it doesn't get the best reviews, but I've read some books recently that have had good reviews on Goodreads and it hasn't been crap. So anyway, this, I don't know, and I also don't know how true this is going to be to the TV show and what all the differences are going to be. So again, book before movie, I'm trying to be pure about it. So this is about a woman named Grace. She is married, she has a son, they live in New York City. I'm pretty sure they live in New York City in the book too. Her husband is a pediatric oncologist and she is a therapist, and she is the author of the forthcoming You Should Have Known. And it says, a book in which she castigates women for not valuing their intuition and calls upon them to pay attention to their first impressions of men. But weeks before the book is published, basically it hits the fan. So we've got a violent death, a missing husband, and in the place of a man Grace thought she knew, only a chain of terrible revelations. So it is public disaster. It is just a hot, flaming mess, and I can't wait to read more about it. So I will say the first episode of the show on HBO has been great. I know you can get it on iTunes as well if you're interested in it, but I will keep you guys posted because I would really like to get back to the TV show, so talk about motivation. And part of me is tempted to stop reading what I'm reading, but I'm not gonna do it. So that's going on in the book world. You guys know that I love to listen to podcasts and things like that. And I have discovered, this is gonna be embarrassing? I don't know if it's embarrassing. Anyway, so I've always had, I would say a soft interest in true crime. And when I read I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara last year, a year and a half ago, it kind of it opened up a new world of true crime for me. Because I had sort of stuck with the John Bonets and the Central Park Five and the Menendez, I would say. But I never went too super deep down a hole. But anyway, I feel like the more dark and twisted I tend to get, the more intriguing this is to me. And a good friend of mine is a big fan of true crime also. So we were talking podcasts and I started to listen to a whole bunch, and True Crime Obsessed. If you guys have not heard of this podcast, it's a comedy podcast, kind of I think My Favorite Murder opened the door for sort of comedy podcasts. So again, much like the ladies of My Favorite Murder, they don't make fun of the crime itself. So they are respectful to the victims. They are very respectful to the crime that happens. They watch different documentaries about things, and there's a lot of great humor to it. They also play off each other, which is great. So it's Jillian Pensavalle and Patrick Hines. Give it a go. They do a lot of super famous cases, and then they do a lot of super obscure ones. There's, I don't know if there's almost 200 episodes. I have deep dived, binged this you can't even believe, and it feels so good to laugh sometimes. I literally want to be best friends with both of these people. They are great, and I'll link all this stuff down below that I talk about, but it is probably hands down my favorite podcast. I love it more than My Perfect Murder. I do love those ladies. They did open a lot of doors for a lot of people, but this one to me is just, it is so much more my humor, I would say, and it's a constant humor about it. It's great. It's great. And it's also turned me on to a bunch of, and this is gonna sound gross, but different true crime events that happened that I wasn't as aware of, or cases that I wasn't as familiar with. And I'm writing a thriller, so it's actually also been very educational for what I'm writing. And I've started to go down more forensic, deeper, darker paths. There's a lot of really messed up podcasts about true crime that are not at all humorous, and some of them are really hard to listen to, and some of them I do have to quit on, and some of them I feel like it's anything. It's finding the right therapist. You got to find your right people on a podcast, but I'm really enjoying it. But here's so I never listened to Serial, and I feel I know I'd heard about it, but I never really understood the hype or what it was all about, or Adnan's case, or any of it. So yes, I'm calling him Adnan because I am so deep down the Adnan Syed case. And again, HBO, and I watched the 4-part documentary, and I've listened to Rabia's entire podcast on Undisclosed. And I think there were like 20 episodes on that. True Crime Obsessed covers it. I have read, listened to so much. I'm in it to win it at this point, you guys. Like, I cannot gather enough information about this. And again, it is partly educational for me for what I'm writing, and I'm like learning a ton about police procedure and autopsies and really horrible ways to get rid of a body and all sorts of stuff. So please don't quit on me yet. But I've just been so deep in a podcast mode, and not the ones I was listening to before. So I'm still sort of dipping a little bit in and out of author podcasts and author interviews and stuff like that, but I am working my way through True Crime Obsessed, and it's the best thing ever that I've ever listened to and ever found, and I don't know how it took me so long to find it. So other than that, I have tried really, really hard to not eat or drink my feelings, and I will say I've done fairly well on both of those fronts, but I unfortunately am just channeling those feelings into shopping my feelings instead, and that has not worked out so well. So now I'm trying to return my feelings by returning a whole bunch of stuff that I bought that I don't need. There's no reason to buy new clothes. There's no reason to buy new anything right now. So dang these sales that are good. I'm doing my best to try and find holiday spirit this year. It is not easy. Thanksgiving had a little bit of a feeling of normal to it, in the sense that I feel like we were able to forget just for a little bit that the world outside our doors is just crazy. But I also go through fairly big waves of anxiety about it. I had to like go to the dentist, go to the doctor, keep on track with some things, and I will say the aftermath of being someplace where a whole bunch of people are gives me really, really huge anxiety. So this comes and goes in waves, but I'm trying to be as grounded and realistic about things as I can be and not get myself worked up into a tizzy. But yesterday was not a good day, I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. So I'm just doing my best to keep positive. And like I said, I was not gonna jump on here and be inauthentic and pretend everything was fine when I was going through it. So we're just doing our best like everybody else out there is. And I'm getting ready to do the Christmas tree, which is gonna go here. So this might be one of the last times you see me sitting in this exact position. And I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I feel like the election drained any ounce of anything I had in me. I watched more CNN than I have in ages. It was like the beginning of COVID where I was like planted in front of the television set round the clock, eyes going crazy. Also not a great stretch of time for a lot of people, no matter what side of the fence you're on. I think the anxiety and stress with the election was just piled on piled on piled kind of stuff. So that happened, and I'm trying to think what else. I mean, like, not for nothing, there's like not much to talk about because I don't really do anything. I read, I've been watching some TV. I'm trying to think, isn't that awful? Have I watched anything else good lately? I will say E was doing these mini marathons of that TV show Las Vegas at one point, which was amazing because you can't get that anywhere else. So thank you for the Josh Duhamel power hours that were going on there, because that was amazing. Other than that, I basically watched some Hulu because I broke up with Netflix for a little bit. I'm gonna wait before we go back together again because I know there's a lot of good stuff on there. There's a lot of good true crime on there. I feel like those are kind of the things. I've done a couple online writing conferences. That's about it. So my life seems so small. Oh man. All right, so whew. Okay, so we are gonna call it a video because my card is full and I just had to delete some random stuff, and the sun is going down because it's winter and I've already talked too much. So thank you guys for hanging out today, tuning in. Welcome if you're new here. It is basically always this scattered and chaotic, but I will have an actual thing to talk about next time. So no promises on specific days that I'm going to upload or how many times I'm going to upload, but I'm just going to try and get back into the groove here and find some footing and and do my best to be back at it, because I have super missed talking about books with you guys and just talking about what's going on in the world. So let me know how you guys are doing. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys are having a good holiday season so far, and that everybody is safe. And, you know, if you're in the fog and you're in the dark days, it's okay, because I get it. And some days you just need to retreat, and sometimes you just need to check out for a little bit, and no explanation is needed. We're all in it. We're all doing our best. I think, you know, when you don't know what's coming and the world is a super scary place, it's okay to just need to do whatever's right for you. So you guys do you. I'm gonna do me. Hopefully our paths will be crossing here quite a bit again. So thanks, you guys. I really appreciate anyone who reached out, checked in with me. I'm sorry for anyone I didn't get back to. I've just been garbage about a lot of things these days. So I appreciate it, though. It means a lot to me. So I will be back. I hope to see you guys here soon. Thank you again for spending, like I said, some of your day with me, and take care, everybody. I'm gonna stop now, okay? Bye, guys.